I think we all have had moments where you find yourself wishing that you want to have more time in a day, where you're simply saying that 24 hours in a day is not enough and that you just don't have enough time to get everything that you want to do done. I want to calm you down a bit and saying that you don't have to be doing everything all at once, but I also want to give you a lot of tips on how you can actually stop wasting time so you have time for the things that you actually want to be doing. Knowing what you want from life. If you're just randomly flopping around and you have no clue of what you actually want to be doing, you will end up wasting time trying a bunch of different things. Now, there is nothing wrong with figuring out your path in life, but you should always have some sort of direction and always have some sort of goal of the things that you want to achieve. Figure out what are the goals, what are your dreams, and how do you want to get there, and then start working towards that. If you want to know more about it, I have a lot of videos on my channel, especially my video on how to change your life in 3 months. What can you do on a day-to-day basis that will help you to waste less time? Stop waiting for motivation to happen. Sometimes we are just lying around, flopping around in life and waiting for that moment of motivation to hit us. Waiting until we feel motivated to save money to buy that house. Waiting until we feel motivated to start that new workout routine and to finally start losing weight. But the thing is that motivation will never come. Motivation comes after taking action. It is the momentum of starting an activity that then will get the motivation to keep going. Try to come up with ways that help you get started without relying on that motivation. And good ways to do that are routines. Creating routines that helps you to automate things in your brain, like a morning routine, cleaning routine, whatever it is that you struggle with, create a routine that includes the things that you really want to be doing. Low effort versions of the things that you want to be doing can also be a great way to stop yourself from wasting time when your motivation is incredibly low. Having low energy versions of your workouts, of your daily tasks, will help you to get things done while you don't have the energy to do the whole entire thing without having to wait around for the energy to arrive. If you really can't get started, tell yourself that you can do it for 7 minutes. That 7 minutes is all you need to get that momentum and motivation going. If it still feels horrible after 7 minutes, you don't need to be doing that thing today. Put it aside and try again at a later time, preferably tomorrow. Combining the task at hand with something that you enjoy can help a lot. For me, that used to be doing the dishes while watching my favorite series, because otherwise I would never do the dishes because I hate doing the dishes. It's ridiculous, but I hate it. Even though it is kind of against the tip that I'm going to give you at the end of this video, so stick around to figure out what that is. Going on walks while listening to a good audiobook is one of those other things for me. And one of the most powerful things is to do the things that you don't want to do together with your friends. I really need to set up a taxing hour every week with my best friend. She doesn't like doing her taxes. I don't like doing my taxes. So we actually just should do them together so it's less sucky to do them and we can complain about the task with each other. That's a great idea. I'm gonna set that up. Equally as important as not waiting for motivation is to not sabotage yourself. And you think, yeah, of course I won't do that, but a lot of people actually do by working against their brain. We have a tendency of trying to fit ourselves in the box of what we think is a norm. But the norm doesn't work for everyone. If you want to use your time in the most efficient manner possible, then you have to be working with your brain, not against it. Find how you manage your time best. Find out what your most productive times of the day are. Schedule the most high intensity work during those times when you are feeling most awake and energized. Find a planning system that works for you. If a simple to-do list leaves you overwhelmed because you can't prioritize, time block. If you feel like time blocking is too restricting for you, go back to your to-do list. I have a video that I will link in the description box on planning systems and time management systems. process if you're struggling to figure out what planning system actually works for you. If you struggle with time just leading away from you, I have 2 tips for you. 1, set time limits. Set alarms on how long you can actually spend on a task, so not one single task eats up all the hours of your day. But if you struggle with knowing how long something takes, make your time visible. Have clocks all over the house. Have a timer next to you while you're doing work. Make sure that you can see how much time is left so you actually use it efficiently. Give yourself little games that can also help. If you feel like you always lose too much time in the morning doing your makeup, for example, try to set yourself a timer every time and do it as fast as you possibly can, and try to become a little bit faster than the day before. Another time killer is resistance. If we resist something, it becomes so much harder to then start doing the task. We end up just sitting around, not doing anything because we don't want to start. Having routines in place where you need them the most can help tremendously with this. For example, an overwhelm routine. And with an overwhelm routine, I mean if you are dreading a task a lot, this often means that you are incredibly scared or overwhelmed by the task. So having a routine that helps you to break down that task and to actually get yourself going will help tremendously taking that first step on getting started on that task. Other easy ways to eliminate resistance is to automate certain things by making templates, by having shortcuts, and by making everything accessible. The easiest way for me, for example, to not go on a run is when I cannot find my key to the house. I have often spent 20 minutes looking for my key to the house, not found it, and not gone on a run. All my motivation for going on that run is just gone. Making sure that I have a little hook next to the door where I can put my key is absolutely essential. Put the things that you want to spend your time on in sight. Put the things that you don't want to spend your time on out of sight, because it goes the other way as well. Things that you don't want to be doing should not be accessible to you. Another great way to save time is to batch the things you do. And this is not only because it makes you more efficient, it's also because it takes a lot less brain power throughout the week. Good example for this for me is weekly and monthly resets. Not only does it help me to do all of those tasks in one go because it takes me less time, it also prevents that I have to spend a lot more time on those things in the future because I let them get out of hand. Have sucky task hours where you do those tasks that help future you out tremendously but that you absolutely hate doing, and then put in all the effort that you possibly can into making those things more enjoyable by having a good playlist, by setting the right vibe, by doing it with a friend. Other things that you can batch: meal prepping, ordering all your groceries, doing all laundry in one go. Think of things that you can put together and try to do that as much as you possibly can. Say yes or say no. Don't do things. We all know that multitasking isn't great, but we tend to do this the most when we feel guilty about not doing either one of the options that we have in front of us. Say that you are sick. You are sick and you're feeling really, really sucky, but you kind of have to go to work. You're feeling guilty about staying at home because you don't feel sick enough, but then you know that if you would try to work, that you wouldn't be as productive because you are feeling like crap. We often try to then go to work sick, which leads to us being a lot less productive at work and also not taking the time to rest, and which then leads to a longer recovery time. Instead of staying in this weird limbo of trying to do all things at once, it is a lot more productive to choose either one of them or do one after the other. Something that I live by since I've had my burnouts is to never do more today than what allows you to still be you tomorrow. You need to see your brain as a muscle. If you go way too hard at the gym, you will be so sore the next day that even walking will be hard. The same thing goes for trying to work too hard one day. Sometimes I have no choice because there's very busy days at work, for example. I notice if I have a day where I'm at full capacity working as hard as I possibly can for like 8 to 9 hours a day, the next day I will have brain fog. I will have zero concentration. I will be so tired and I will get nothing done. So to prevent that, I have a limit. Everybody needs to figure out that limit for themselves. That limit allows you to get the most out of the time that you have. Imagine that I work 8 hours one day and then get nothing done the next. I only did 8 hours of work. But if I put my limit at 6 hours of very productive work every day, then I get 12 hours of work done, which is 4 whole hours more. Start with or without a plan. And this will highly depend on your situation. If you feel like you spend too much time on planning and you fail to take action a lot of the time, stop planning and start doing. But if you feel like you really struggle with prioritizing and not knowing what you should be doing at certain moments and that leading to chaos, start planning. A lot of people are obsessed with planning but never take any action, and other people just do without thinking and end up running in circles. Some people have asked me how to stop wasting time on social media. It's not wasted if you use it in the right way. For me, TikTok, for example, is a place where I get a lot of my inspirations. I love catching up with my friends on Instagram. Social media for me is not a bad place, but it is a place that can suck you in. I get that. So what I do to prevent that, and it's something that you might want to try out as well, is I schedule time for it. I have designated times for Netflix, for social media. I only go on those platforms in those certain times. Sometimes I do still get sucked in, and I think it's normal because we are all human. Allowing yourself to do the things that you really crave doing is going to be a whole lot easier than saying you cannot ever use social media again. As a whole, being more productive, wasting less time is a balance between taking care of yourself and setting limits and boundaries and not doing too much, and then kind of hacking your brain a little bit in making yourself more productive. And it is kind of a complicated dance from time to time, and you will get it wrong, and there will be days that you still feel like time has run away from you, and that is okay. You can't always be perfect. But I hope these tips have helped you. If they did, consider subscribing, giving the video a like, whatever it is that you want to do. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and again with the not being able to form an outro. I will see you on Wednesday. Toodaloo!